11 sur les pistes 10 et 11, British Columbia versus Newfoundland and Labrador. Colombie-Britannique contre la Terre-Neuve et Labrador.
For every gold medal won at the 2019 Canada Games, Shaw Communications will donate $150 to a local charity.
So welcome to the 2019 Canada Winter Games from Red Deer, Alberta. Today we got an awesome matchup here for you from everywhere from Newfoundland to BC. Welcome to joining the booth by somebody that some people across the country may not know, but I know very well. Welcome to the booth, my awesome cousin, Lyle Peterman. How are you doing today, Lyle?
I'm so happy to be here.
So happy.
Coast to coast.
Coast to coast.
Coast to coast.
So my cousin Lyle has a big history in broadcasting. He does play-by-play for the Calgary Canucks out of Calgary, so he's done a lot of broadcasting in his career.
A lot of hockey.
A lot of hockey.
First curling.
Yep, so we're going to have a good Vic Router in the booth today. So we'll get started here. We'll kind of introduce you to the teams once we get started. We're going to have O Canada sung by Shelley. And once we get started here, we'll give you a quick introduction of the teams, and we'll get going from the 2019 Canada Winter Games from Red Deer, Alberta.
We also recognize this region as a historical Métis gathering site, and we are grateful to be here as we gather today for this event.
Nous tenons à remercier les Premières Nations faisant partie du traité numéro 6, les Cris, et du traité numéro 7, les Pieds-Noirs et les Stoney, car nous sommes réunis aujourd'hui sur leurs terres ancestrales et traditionnelles. Cette région est également un lieu de rassemblement traditionnel des Métis, et c'est un privilège de pouvoir nous y réunir dans le cadre de cet événement.
Please rise if you are able, remove your hats, and join Shelley Popovich in the singing of our national anthem. Mesdames et messieurs, veuillez-vous vous lever et enlever vos chapeaux et rejoindre Shelley Popovich avec notre hymne national.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. Quand embrasser porter l'épée, il sait porter la croix. Ton histoire est une épopée des plus brillants exploits. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Another great rendition by Shelley. Lyle, I'm surprised they didn't ask us to sing this morning.
Oh, that's one thing I have no talent with. That's for sure. Fun fact, Joel, despite being cousins, I'm actually half Newfie.
Half Newfie, so this is a perfect game.
This is a perfect game, and 2 6-1 teams today.
Two 6-1 teams.
I feel like I may have picked a good one to join you on.
Absolutely. So we got a first place matchup here. First place kind of on the line between British Columbia and Newfoundland this morning. Both teams playing a strong week so far this week, with their only losses coming a little bit earlier in the week. But both teams are coming in this game really confident. I was talking to both the teams before, Lyle, and they were both mentioning how excited they are for this game, to be on it, webcasted across the country, and both teams are really excited to get going. So without further ado, we got Newfoundland here. BC will start with Hammer. So without further ado, we'll start with our Newfoundland. So to give a quick update as we get the first stone started here, we got British Columbia, Ontario, Newfoundland, and Alberta all tied at 6-1. Behind them, we got Manitoba and Saskatchewan at 4-3, New Brunswick at 3-4, Nova Scotia 3-5, Quebec 2-5, and then Prince Edward Island and Northwest Territories still looking for their first win at 0-8.
And Alberta in action today too on sheet 8 against Ontario.
Those are big games. So 2 6-1 games going on today. We'll keep you updated across the rings. We'll do our across the rink segment with Joel Peterman and Lyle Peterman going across the rings today. We've already patented that, Lyle.
Perfect. There's a lot of rinks here. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's a beautiful facility. All the athletes and fans have been raving about it.
I haven't been here since your wedding, to be honest.
That's a little bit different facility for that, isn't it? But so here we go with BC. not taking any chances early. This is their lead, Troy Chung.
Perfect.
Yeah. Two teams, especially when your two teams are kind of battling for first place here, you didn't expect them to mix it up too much too early. So both the teams are kind of get their feet wet and under them, get used to the ice. Troy Trung's a really well-spoken guy, the lead for BC. He wrote all his things, all his information for the media very well in full sentences compared to the rest of his team. I was giving them a hard time about that. Must be an English major.
Or his parents help him.
No, they might have helped him, absolutely. So BC is actually one of our oldest teams here at the competition, too. Their lead and their third are both 17, and their second and their skip are actually 18. So some of the oldest teams. The Newfoundland team on the other side, they got a 15-year-old, a couple 16s, and a 17. So a little bit younger team. However, both teams coming in with a lot of experience, and we'll kind of touch on that as we go through the broadcast.
I assume 18 is the max.
18 is, yeah.
A lot of Newfoundland fans in the crowd today.
Absolutely. They've been up rearing and ripping and roaring right from the beginning. It's kind of been a good atmosphere all week, Lyle. Like, you can see a lot of the stands are out there, and it kind of adds for an atmosphere that the kids aren't quite used to when they first come to the Canada Games. So it's been awesome to see them adjust to it.
Normally use the fans all behind the glass in the lobby, not on the sheet with them.
Exactly. So when they miss a shot and their parents are mad at them, now they can actually hear them out there. Maybe a good thing, maybe a bad thing.
So far, cool games in Red Deer, though. Took in some hockey last weekend.
Right on. And Red Deer's really supported the games.
Yeah, it's great to see.
For them to, they actually were talking about on the broadcast yesterday, this building itself, the capacity I think was only 700, and they had to bring in some inspectors in the fire department to raise the capacity of the building to 850. So they raised it by a little bit just so they could allow more spectators.
I heard there's been a few sellouts too, so that's good.
Absolutely. Never a good thing to turn away people, so I think that's why they raised the capacity of the building. So
a lot of curling fans in Alberta.
Absolutely, and Red Deer in particular. Big curling base. Lyle, obviously, with the Peterman name, big curling background himself.
Yeah, I curl in a Monday night mixed league.
Lyle won the Ironman back in the day, the Ironman Bonspiel, so nothing to shake your stick at.
I've been in two Bonspiels now. The first one I won was mostly because of Joel, to be honest.
We've actually never lost a spiel together. Humble brag.
We didn't just win, we kind of dominated it.
We did.
I'm not going to lie. It was, we didn't give their teams much of a chance.
No. So BC second. BC second there. Dawson Ballard rolls out. It's going to allow a chance to Newfoundland here to just peel the guard, kind of keep things simple here in the first end. Nathan Locke makes no mistake. Going to hit the guard, roll in. Looking like both teams are kind of happy, just keeping things simple in this first end.
Keep it controlled.
Kind of see that in a lot of big games like this. However, I say that, and I look over on Alberta, Ontario, and those are also big games, and they're going right after each other right from the beginning. So
yeah, two different stories from sheet 8 to sheet 10 right now.
So we like doing games like this because it could be a potential playoff matchup that we're seeing already. So both teams are kind of getting the feel of each other. Dawson Ballard makes a much better shot there, sticking around. So two teams that like to give back, too. I was reading a little about their bios beforehand, and Dawson Ballard, the second for Team BC, that just actually won the Volunteer of the Year award for his junior program in his home club. So good to give back, and I think Nathan Young for Team Newfoundland kind of had something similar in his community, so it's really good to see these kids giving back to the sport they love. Good shot there by Sam Follett. I had a good laugh with him before the game, too. Sam's role model, Lyle, is Matthew McConaughey. I figured it might be some kind of curler, but he actually picked an actor, so I asked him if he has an acting future in his acting career in his future.
Maybe he wants to drive a Lincoln, maybe.
Maybe. Or maybe being on that, somebody told me Matthew McConaughey's voice is now on that app that puts you to sleep, that Calm app. So you can now listen to Matthew McConaughey just go, all right, all right, all right, time for bed. It's kind of creepy in my mind, but.
I'm resisting that app. I've heard a lot about it, but just Not ready for that.
So Sam Follett, the actor wannabe, here we go. He actually wants to be a curler, I think, too. So they're doing a pretty good job of that here, 6-1 at the Canada Winter Games. These guys have a lot of experience, too, playing in a lot of provincials for U18. You can see this team just confident, a little bit older, a little bit more confident than some of the teams we've seen this week. Sam Follett making no mistake, hitting it right on the nose. So now the third for Team BC, a last name that you might recognize. Joshua Mickey here from BC. His dad actually won the Brier. His coach and dad, Brian Mickey, won the Brier back in 2000. It was actually the world champ with Greg McCauley. And Brian's dad, actually, so Joshua's grandpa, Fuji was in the Brier in 1979 and is a Canadian mixed champ. So kind of a 3-generation player here at the Canada Winter Games.
Something about families and continuing curling, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. I think people just refer to me around the rink here as Jocelyn's brother. So
Absolutely. She's much more famous than you. Better looking.
Yeah.
Better curler. Well, you've had some success at the Canada Games as well.
Yeah, back in the day.
Remember watching that?
Yeah, I got to embarrass myself on TSN. Falling on my butt.
I forgot about that, but thanks for bringing that back up.
Yeah, absolutely. So our first look at the Newfoundland skip here, Nathan Young. Going over curled a little bit on them. It's going to leave the Team BC rock just biting. I don't know if you guys can see that from your angle, but on ours we can see that it's just biting the 12, and now it'll allow BC a chance for a kind of a unexpected deuce here in the first end.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming the way this end's been going.
Kind of no teams were having any trouble. Maybe a little bit nerve setting in early. So nothing like you like better than a first end draw with no kind of pressure. Open house. I just noticed kind of a little bit lineup change here too. Not lineup change, but just a little bit different lineup. So Dawson Ballard, the second for Team BC, is actually going to be holding the broom for skip Hayato Seto. I'm going to pronounce that wrong. I apologize already. Hayato.
I'd go at Sato, no?
Sato? Sato? Yeah, maybe. He'll tell us after the game either way.
Either way, yeah.
These kids always seem to watch the webcast afterwards, see what we're talking about them, so he'll correct me after.
Looks like it's going to be perfect.
So want to keep as much space as they can between these two, not allow a double by Young. Looks like he's done just that.
Great shot.
Even straight across. So Young going to try and hit this and roll as close as he can, close to that other one. Maybe make Hayato's last shot for the deuce a little bit harder. Ooh, getting some country music this morning.
Now, is the music on the ice or just in the lobby here?
Just in the lobby.
Okay.
Our mics pick up a little bit of everything.
All right, yeah. But that's odd.
Yeah.
No one wants to curl the country music.
Maybe some of Alberta teams do, or prairie teams.
there
They
you
might
go.
like that.
Scantron over on sheet 6 may like that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So Nathan Young getting his second chance at this hit here. Try and hit this and roll as far as you can. This one is floating a little bit on him. It's important to stick here to not allow Hayato another shot at the draw.
And he's not going to.
No, he will roll too far. So two different throws there. The first one, Nathan got a little bit tight and rolled out on the inside, and this one maybe put it a little bit back and rolled out on the outside. So two different throws. Hayato and Team BC a chance to get an opening deuce here and kind of set the tone for the game. See if we can get a time on this for you guys. See what the ice is running today. Lau, what do you think you need for time?
10:16.
10:60, 10. We're looking more around the 15-second mark, but 10:16, I think they might have to huck it a little harder.
No, it's now sorry, I was saying it's 10:16 a.m.
Oh, right. Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Oh, I see what you're saying. He's not wrong. It is 10:16, unless you're from Newfoundland. Then it's something like 12:45 or 1:45, that 3.5 hours.
3.5, yeah, that odd half-hour time zone.
Exactly.
Yeah, this
So
looks like it's
14-4, he should be right on the tee line. Great shot there by
Make it
BC.
2.
So 2-0, opening deuce here for Team BC. They now lead 2-0 after the first end of play. Newfoundland will have the hammer going into the second. So, Lyle, I appreciate you coming down, kind of driving down and helping me out here.
Hey, no problem. I was excited to do it. Got hockey broadcasts all weekend. I thought, you know what, why not throw this in here?
Throw a little curling
into the old resume.
Yep, absolutely. So then if TSN calls you up and says, what's your range?
Yeah, multi-sport for sure.
Multi-sport.
I've done basketball too, actually. Didn't like that, though.
No?
To be honest, no.
Too fast-paced?
No, I just don't like the sport. So
That's very honest of you.
that was basically it.
Yeah, I don't think it's too fast-paced for me. I like this curling where I can talk in between, make some jokes. Basketball, I feel like I'd be talking the whole time. I'm like this and then in the pass to this guy. And no, I like this pace. The guy who helped me out yesterday, Keith Glover, would probably agree. He was a little bit, me and him like the slower pace of curling.
Yes, it's quite nice. Very Canadian of us, really.
Very Canadian. Absolutely. I feel like basketball's
Thursday
Canadian
morning.
too. Isn't basketball created by a Canadian?
Yeah, but like we don't own that anymore.
So the first rock there by lead Ben Stringer. Or sorry, my apologies. The lead Troy Chung just slides into the back forefoot. Not exactly where he wanted it. Probably trying to keep it on the top of the forefoot. Slides to the back forefoot will allow Nathan Young to be a little bit aggressive here, get up the corner guard. This one seems to be sliding a little bit on them too. This now Ben Stringer, the lead for Team Newfoundland. It will stay on out front of the rings, maybe not quite the depth they wanted. However, a corner guard nonetheless. It's back to Troy Young here. Like I said earlier, Troy Young, very well-spoken individual. He wrote me full paragraphs here about his awards and accomplishments. He was also awarded the Sportsmanship Award at the 2018 U18 National Curling Championships.
A lot of really nice guys out there in the ice.
Really nice guys. It's really making a good impression for curlers. And his actual personal role model is pretty cool. He looks up to his grandpa because his grandpa survived a cancer scare twice. He indicated that he learned the importance of perseverance and positive thinking through obstacles and adversities, and this mindset is a major factor for his success that he's found in curling. That was all written by him. See, that's how well written he is. Well spoken.
That is ridiculously good.
Yeah, good for him. So Troy puts that second one in a really good spot, kind of top 8 foot, so now they sit 2. Newfoundland doesn't want to ignore both these rocks, so they're going to try and, I think the original call was to hit the other one, but they're going to sneak by this. I didn't actually see the call. I should probably be paying a little more attention.
John's going to get that out. I believe that was the call, Joel.
Was it?
I think so.
Good sweep in there by Hayato, though, to make that roll out. Helping us skips and our reputation of not being good sweepers out. So Team BC, second, Dawson Ballard, going to attempt a little tap back here. Kind of keep as much separation as you can. If you could tap back to the top 4 foot, would be a good shot. So you took in some hockey, Lyle. Did you take anything else from the Canada Games yet, or no?
No, just hockey. Last Sunday at the Centrium, watched Team BC and Team Saskatchewan play, men's.
Right on. It's been some good action.
From a guy who watched a lot of hockey, I was amazed by the sheer speed of the game.
Especially for those kids being, what, 16, 17, the hockey teams?
Yeah, I mean, they're pre-WHL age. And
they're pre-WHL, so they're 15. Wow,
some of them
14.
have, most of them are 15. Some of them are already picked up by teams, but on the practice roster.
Just speaks to the level of competition here at the Canada Winter Games. You're probably watching hockey and watching the curling here as well. You're watching future Olympians, future NHL players. You're watching kids that are going to have a lot of success going forward.
Will this hang on? Yes.
It will. Important there to hang on. It's a good shot there by Nathan Locke. Good shot by him to stick around. It's going to force a kind of tough, difficult shot here for Dawson Ballard. He's going to have to go way out wide. You don't always know what it's going to do out here. I know at the local rinks sometimes if you throw a rock out here, it could do anything.
It's like getting stuck in the gutter at bowling.
Yeah, exactly.
Straight.
So you don't see them giving much ice. Maybe pick up the weight a little bit to keep it straight.
I imagine, though, at this event, they'll take more time and effort in the outside than they do maybe on a average men's night.
Absolutely. This one creeping towards the boards, but it will make
Just got it.
contact and avoided the jam. Good shot there by Dawson Ballard.
It was close.
So now Nathan Young kind of has a decision here. He can either hit that one on the side 8 foot, but he's going to decide to ignore it. It's a good aggressive call here. He's going to use his corner guard. If they can get to the tee line.
Buried as possible.
Buried as possible would be perfect.
These teams play 2 games a day, Joel?
They do, yeah. So 2 draws a day. They play at 10 a.m. most days and then 5 p.m. Except we have 2 3-draw days. So that'll be tomorrow, 9 a.m., 2 p.m., and 7 p.m.
Wow.
But that would be just for the teams that kind of make the playoffs, because tomorrow would be the last round robin game at 9, and then quarterfinal at 2, with your semifinals going tomorrow night at 7 p.m.
As you mentioned, this could be a preview for one of those.
Absolutely. So 6 teams make the playoffs here at the Canada Winter Games. So kind of right now, these 2 teams are kind of locked probably into a playoff position, you got to assume. However, battling for that first or second place is huge, because first and second will get a bye to the semifinal, and then 3 will play 6, and 4 will play 5 in the quarterfinals.
So there's no 1-2 game.
No 1-2 game, not the page, but a little bit of advantage to the first and second place
What
team.
I find complicated about curling is all your different formats you guys choose to use.
There's never a consistent one, is there?
Never. And this year, watching the Scotties, watching your sister, I was also confused.
Yeah, absolutely. With the new championship pool format. Good shot there by Joshua. He did jam at the back, however, it rolled out, so not too much harm there. Yeah, there's the page format, and there's sometimes, I think at the world stage for the World Juniors, they just go straight up semifinals and final. Sometimes there's, like here at the Canada Winter Games, now there's going to be quarterfinals, semifinals, and final. There's not much consistency, is there?
I just wish you'd pick one, and then we could all follow it that
Maybe
way.
if only we had some Curling Canada people in front of us that could give us an indication of why they can't pick a consistent playoff format. Page format, quarterfinals, semifinals. The world stage does just the semifinals. But there is a big advantage here at this one at the Canada Winter Games to finish first and second. So this is a big game here for both these BC and Newfoundland boys. And of course our Ontario and Alberta games going on beside us.
So fairly covered there.
I think that was the main objective, just to get buried. No matter kind of the depth, especially late in the end, important to get buried. You'll see Hayato kind of take no chances. They're just going to peel this guard and maybe roll in. If you can sit second shot, it's big here. If you can roll in and sit second shot, all of a sudden there's 2 stones to contend with for Nathan Young and Team Newfoundland. A little bit in out on the release there by Mickey. He's going to hit this yellow rock, but where his shooter goes is the important thing. He might run right into his own, and he does.
Stick and the...
Oh, Nathan doesn't know exactly which one to sweep. But he does get one out of play. See, if it was just a local club curling, nobody saw that other one hit the boards. You should have just left it. Are you allowed to do that? No. No.
I don't know. I'm too honest.
I'm just kidding. This leaves Newfoundland the opportunity. There's third, Sam Follett. If you can hit this right on the nose, all of a sudden you got to do setup because you're split the house perfectly. So kind of out of nowhere, Newfoundland has a chance to get their deuce right back and tie things up here.
It's got to come still. We hit it, roll.
It's a good weight choice. However, it might have been a little in out with the release. They're working on it. Sato does stick around.
Is the double there, Joel?
I think it is. They're going to take it on either way. So they're going to play. They're going to play into it here. There's kind of a few good options that you could get out of this too. Hayato, if he hits it a little bit thick and he can roll in front, is not a bad option. However, if they make the double, I think they'll be happy as well.
I think they'd be happy, yep. It sounds like a good plan. Does every draw follow the format where the men and the women play the same provinces?
Absolutely, yeah. They
good.
kind of do that for viewing purposes. Just so if you're a Newfoundland or BC fan, you can basically watch both here, Ontario, Alberta. That's kind of fun. The only day that wasn't like that was the day TSN messed everything up. They came and messed everything up and moved people around, and there wasn't as many draws. But
TSN.
Yeah. TSN's also to blame for that big, ugly camera that covers up our camera on sheet 11. Which our official, Brenda Rogers, said she was going to climb up in the rafters and take down. However, she hasn't done that yet. So TSN's doing that this afternoon. Helen Radford tells me that they're doing it this afternoon, so we will have somewhere to view. Look at this shot. How good is that by Hayato Sato? No deuce opportunity anymore. Nathan you could tell him kind of resign himself to that. He kind of looked at it and just said, all right, let's pick everything and just take the blank. Great shot there by BC. You'll see young juvenile teams, Lyle, on a shot like that. When the double is there, they'll kind of go so hard for the double that they'll miss it, and all of a sudden the deuce is still set up. So a very mature call there by Sato to just kind of roll in front, and all of a sudden the deuce is completely gone. Good job there by Team BC, and you also have to account for Ballard's line call there because the hit and roll is not an easy line call. So good for both those guys. Good team shot. Young a little bit tight here, but his sweeper's doing a great job. Lockie's doing a great job. Kept that straight. Good sweeping there.
Great sweep.
So the blank back on. No two going to be available here in this end unless we see a miss by Sato. But good sweeping there by Nathan Locke, the second for Team Newfoundland to keep that straight. They're utilizing that kind of one sweeper technique that we've seen more and more as things have gone forward. How do you feel about that, Lyle? If you were just the one sweeper and the other guy was just cheering you on, would you like that very much?
I'd prefer to have someone else
helping you out.
It's less work that way.
I guess if you're the guy just cheering on, though, that's less work for you.
That's true.
But Sato with a very good delivery here. He should be sticking around. They're going to give it a little bit high side sweeping just to make sure, but right on the nose, no problem there. Early on in this game, but Sato's perfect so far, 4 for 4. He's a really nice kid, too. I went down there and talked to him. We had a really good conversation because he listed his personal role model as, and I quote, "I don't have one at the moment, but looking for inspiration." So I shook his hand and introduced myself.
Oh, he can do better.
So then he followed that up with saying, as much as I appreciate the thought, Mark Kennedy would definitely probably be my personal role model. So I had to resign myself to obscurity again.
You're a pretty big deal in Red Deer, though. So just keep that in mind.
Absolutely.
Looks like he's going to have this no problem. Great shot.
Gets the blank end.
After 2-0 still, BC.
Newfoundland will retain the hammer going to the third. Should we do a quick around the ring, see what's going on, Lau? Can you see we're over on sheet A?
Yeah, Manitoba leads 1-0.
And that's the boys' side.
Yeah.
Girls' side, same score.
Also 1-0 Manitoba. Sheets 4, the men's side, 1-0 PEI.
2-0 PEI.
2-0 PEI. You're right.
Over the territories.
Still looks like we have a 0-0 on the women's side. On the scoreboard so far. 1-0 New Brunswick over Saskatchewan on the men's side, and no score on the sheet 7 women. Same provinces.
Ooh, Ontario with the big first end against the Alberta boys, though.
3.
So Ontario got 3 in the first end.
Women Alberta lead 1-0.
Over Ontario's
home on 2.
So 2 big games there. Alberta leading in one and Ontario leading in the other. Of course, our featured sheet, 2-0 here for BC after 2 ends of play. And in the female game, 0-0.
0-0.
Looks like something's happening here, though. Newfoundland drawn for 2.
Yeah, they should be wide open for 2 here.
So we'll keep you updated around the rings. Another segment of Around the Rings with Lyle and Joel.
TM.
Yep.
Round the rings? Is that what you called it?
Yeah, Around the Rings.
Round the rings.
Round the rings.
Yeah, that's clever.
Dustin and I, the first guy I commentated with on Sunday, we patented that and we tried to sell it to TSN. They didn't bite.
Did you provide the TSN commentary or just
No,
watch?
we got cut for that day.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
We were offering our services. I think we actually started handing out flyers trying to get a petition started. We didn't do that. However, Dave Nedwin and Heather Nedwin, since their daughter's curling here for the
Yeah, they're
ladies
qualified.
team. Yeah. A couple Briar championships, couple Scotties championships. I guess that does it for you. Oh, they were fantastic on the mic there. On Tuesday, Newfoundland coming a little bit light on the girls' side, and they only got 1 point. So it'll be 1-0 Newfoundland after 2 ends of play on the girls' side. On our sheet, BC goes right to the top 4 foot with their first, and Newfoundland lead. Ben Stringer tried to throw up the center or the corner guard and slipped just into the rings. So now that'll allow BC to keep things simple here. Troy Chung, the lead, going to try and make that go away.
I enjoy reading this for Ben Stringer. Any information that could be used by the media? And a friend invited me to go curling with him. That's his answer to that.
Maybe he was answering a different question. Maybe that's how he started curling, I guess. Maybe.
Well, it just says other information that could be interesting, and that's that a friend invited him to go curling. That's a great start to the game, though. I feel like me and Ben have a similar entry in the sport. That was how I was invited. Actually, I think I asked you to curl.
Absolutely.
I initiated that.
Now Lyle curls out of the North Hill Curling Club in Calgary.
Beautiful club.
Beautiful club.
Yeah. I enjoy the proximity to home.
So a lot of beautiful clubs up in or down in Calgary, I guess, from Red Deer. But
yeah, they've all got the distinct 80s lobby lounge areas. Nothing's been touched in 30 years.
It's a little bit different here in Red Deer. So Ben Stringer gets the corner guard up on his second attempt. Snaps just short of the rings. So now BC, Dawson Ballard the second. They've already sent in 2 here at BC. They're kind of putting the pressure on early. I think they're going to go with the center guard here, kind of make sure this gets right to the center line. They will now sit first and second with a good guard. Good positioning there by Dawson Ballard. Well swept also by the boys.
You can see about nothing.
So Newfoundland going to change strategies a little bit, maybe run something back here. I was asking the boys before the game, Lyle, the Newfoundland boys, I said, I noticed none of you on your bios for us wrote any of the Newfoundland team as your role model, including Brad Gouchy wasn't listed.
What about Brett Gallant?
And Brett Gallant wasn't listed.
Big fan of Brett.
However, they did indicate that Brett and Brad, and obviously the boys, are huge inspiration for them. They just forgot to write it down. Good shot there by Locke. Makes the run back, gets it over to a corner, and picks out the one stone on the top 4 foot. We give Brett a hard time on here all the time.
I'm excited. I'm going to go spend 2 weeks at Brett's house this summer. I'm going to go tour Newfoundland, find my homeland.
Perfect. You guys are going for George Street Fest?
George Street Festival into July, and then we're just basically going to let Brett show us whatever he wants on the island.
Perfect. It's very exciting. However, you have to spend a couple weeks with Brett, so I don't know. It's a trade-off. I'm just kidding.
Bring my golf clubs and just get smoked at golf.
Yeah.
No one makes you feel like a worse athlete than Brett Gallant.
It's kind of annoying, isn't it?
Yeah.
No matter what you're doing, whether it's something as...
I did beat him in curling, though, in croquet curl this year. But then I lost in the second half of the game.
No.
So,
We don't talk about that half.
but I did. I can say I beat Brett Gallant in a curling round by a score of 2-1.
Perfect.
He was awful.
So a good shot there by BC. Gets the guard up. Just biting, so that rock is just biting the top of the 12 foot. BC now sitting 2. Locke with his second attempt at a double here. If he can make 2 doubles, all of a sudden Newfoundland's in a little better position. If he can hit this maybe a little bit high, right on the nose or a little bit high side, make the double and roll for another corner, all of a sudden Newfoundland's in good position. This one a little bit tighter, and he's going to have to get some help. Stringer working on it for him. He's going to jam this in behind, or actually, as Vic would say, stuffed it right there. Are we allowed to use their sayings, Lyle, do you think?
I
The
don't think
TSN
they've
guys?
trademarked anything.
No? Perfect.
but I have not looked that up either.
I've been using that all week. So, Vic, if you have a problem, I'm sorry.
Do you think Vic's listening?
No, Vic's not
Oh.
listening. No, absolutely not.
Because if he was, I just got a lot more nervous.
So third, here we go. Joshua, Mickey.
Where's their home rink, Joel? Do you know?
I don't actually know. I think Coquitlam, but I could be wrong because they're a little bit from everywhere. Some are Dawson's from Surrey, Troy's from Burnaby. One's from, and two are from Coquitlam. So good shot there by Mickey. Kind of puts it right behind the two crossed over guards, rolls over to the center. Good shot there by Mickey. It was really important weight on that shot, but not just weight, but the line call by Sato. You don't want to push that behind the T line because all of a sudden Newfoundland has a chance to freeze. So you can kind of see Young kind of contemplating his options here now. He's not quite sure what he should do. You could play. It's going to be really tough to get to that one with the crossed over guards now, so he's got to think about this pretty good. What do you think you should play, Lyle, if you put your coach's hat on? I know you're a big curling background, but what would you play?
This one.
This one.
I like the call.
We could do like those funny curling commercials on TV now. Throw the heavy-handled thing.
And he sticks around the house.
So they're actually going to play, looks like the axe double here. These are always tough
Got a
because you have to hit a
chance.
little thinner.
Oh, I didn't miss by much, Joel.
Not at all. So Sam Follett just missing the double. Those are always a little bit thinner than you think. So you call them and you think you have the right spot, but they're always a little bit thinner because they drag backwards a little bit. So you have to account for hitting it a little bit thinner, and he missed the double there just by inches. However, on the stone that he hit, he probably missed it by only a fraction of an inch.
No, Newfoundland still has the raise option at some point,
Yeah.
which is tough.
Tough just because they're a little bit crossed over. So it's important shot on here for Joshua Mickey to not leave a double. A little bit tight out of his hand. You could see the skip Sato indicate that right away, but a good job by Ballard to keep it out there for him.
Sweeper's called off.
Important positioning on this stone. You have to try and get a little piece buried because if you leave it edge to edge, there might be a double for Newfoundland. Did he get a piece buried? He did. That's a really good shot there by Joshua Mickey.
See with 3/4 still, but that's tough.
I don't mind this call. They're going to play, if you keep your weight down here, if you play like a board weight, roll open, try and stay in the 8 foot's not a bad shot. You also could play some kind of double peel and get something out of the way. It's not a bad option either. The only worry here would be to throw it a little bit tight and kind of leave everything around with 2 BC stones still in play. I think the thinner the better on this one. Thin across the top, or you make just the simple double peel and get everything out of the way. Working on it for him.
The weight.
See, kind of what I indicated. If you hit it half a rock, you're going to leave the guard right there and 2 BC stones still in play.
BC just throws the guard now.
They should, yeah, I believe. The only other option would be to come into the rings a little bit deeper and kind of tuck a piece behind the yellow. Wouldn't be a bad option either. Or play some kind of tap back on the blue. There's a few options, but they're going to go just with the guard. So we've talked about the Furby system before here on air, not with Lyle, but the Furby system is kind of a 1, 2, or 3, or your 3 guards. 1 just being over, 2 halfway, and 3 right close to the rings. So they're going to aim for a 3 here. It's kind of the option.
Now, why is that called the Furby system?
They were the ones who invented it, actually.
Okay.
Randy Furby and his team, and Dave Nedwin, who's here watching his daughter. They've kind of invented that system for communication. It was a big thing for communication back when they went on their run of Briar wins. It was patented, well, not patented, sorry, but it was used by them.
Using the word patent a lot today.
A lot today. Used by them to a lot of success, just helped with communication. So teams are starting to go away from it nowadays. They're more just using zones and spots, sorry. However, I found it funny the other day. Dave Nedwin tweeted out, yeah, our system didn't work at all. I can see why people are going away from it. And all it was a picture of his 5 Briar rings. was a very good tweet.
Soft brag.
Soft bragging, exactly.
Well, there's the guard. And I'd say that's pretty perfect.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Lyle. Kind of leaves Newfoundland only really 2 options. They could double peel here and get everything out of the way, or play some kind of yellow run back maybe, or he could ignore everything and draw around everything. But I would say if I'm in the coaching position here, I'm happy if they're peeling some kind of guard off. You got to get something out of the way.
I think they're going to call the draw. No? Yeah?
Kind of disagreeing here, aren't they? The third saying one thing, the skip saying another.
All right, so I think
Got to defer to the skip sometimes on that. They're also looking at the run back, so all 3 options we just mentioned.
now I'm an aggressive curler, and I'm not very good, but I'd go with the run back.
Would you?
That'd be my instinct. I'm not saying I'd make it, but
The only problem here with the run back, Lyle, and I do agree with you, if you make it good, it's a good shot. If you ever happen to run this yellow one back and miss everything, you've now left the center guard up for BC because you're not touching that one. And all of a sudden there's 2 BC rocks in the 4-foot. I guess top 8 and 4-foot.
it's very true.
But-
Newfoundland may take the risk here, though.
Yeah, because if you make this, it is a good shot. If you can get as much as you can to nose, it's a real good shot if you could sit it for 1. Few options, though. He did.
It's got
Looks
a long ways to come still.
And here, I think we're going to see that worst case scenario I was talking about.
That just didn't move.
So sometimes, we've talked about it before, the pro side miss. Being wide there, all of a sudden you've left kind of everything in the house. If you miss tight there, you at least peel a guard, like you peel the center guard off, which is the one that's hurting you. So it's important there to discuss that as a team before you go down and throw it and just say, yes, it's important, we want to try and make this, but where is the side we want to hit if we miss? Because if they would have said there, yeah, our miss is inside, you get the center guard off and you're laughing. You're still in good position. But now that he's missed wide, BC's sitting 1 dead buried, and they're going to guard this other one dead buried, and now all of a sudden you have to basically draw the button for 1.
Sato with a chance to put the pressure on here and end 2. 3 and 3.
So BC already with a 2-0 lead here in the 3rd end. I don't think Hayato Sato's missed a shot yet, has he, Lau? The kid's been on fire.
Not that I've noticed.
But his team's making a lot of shots in front of him, too, which has made his job easy. He's basically thrown 2 guards this end. And I think I've jinxed him here because this one is over curling. Shouldn't have said anything. Sorry, Hayato.
I don't think he heard you.
So because his line was a little bit tight, they're going to go a little bit deeper with this. Ooh, it's kind of, it's sneaky because by overcurling a little bit, he's exposed the shot rock, which might tempt Newfoundland to go after it. But if Newfoundland happens to go after it and you just feather that one that was just thrown by Sato, all of a sudden it's a steal of 3. So it's kind of a sneaky little shot there by Sato. I don't know if he meant to, but
I think plan B wasn't the worst thing.
no.
What do you do here, Joel?
If it's me, I pretend he made the guard and I just draw the button because that's the shot you were expecting to be throwing. So you just go down there and you know
That is the call.
if I have to win a competition like this, I'm going to have to draw the button a few times. So get draw weight in your pocket. You give it to your sweepers and, yeah, put it in there.
So Young facing 3. Is that the right way to describe that? Facing 3?
Exactly.
Yeah,
I think
see?
he nailed that.
Watch a lot of curling on TV now, thanks to your sister.
Yep. So facing 3, Nathan Young. Looking for that. We talked about that time around 14 and a half.
He was right on broom.
Right on broom.
That's another coined curling phrase, TM.
Absolutely.
Calls.
14. I asked for 14 and a half, and he threw 14.6. So he should be close.
I think he's got this, Joel. Perfect.
What a shot there by
Great
Nathan
draw.
Young.
Might even just be touching the button as well.
Right on that 14 and a half. He threw 14.57. So, that's exactly what you're looking for there. The sweeper swept it well, managed well. He got out there to the broom, and that's a big game saver early in this game. You give up a steal 3, all of a sudden it's 5-0. Game's completely different. You got to be a little bit disappointed if you're BC, but you got to tip your hat a little bit too. So 2-1 BC after 3 ends of play. BC will get the hammer back here, though.
Checking over on the women's side now, Newfoundland. 1 in the second, so it's still 1-0 on the women's side.
Oh,
we're going to get an update, yeah, right now.
They're going to update for us. Lau, you can break the news.
This just in. I think BC scored 1, to be honest. I was kind of watching that side. Maybe it was a blank. It was 1. I was correct. 1-1.
You can't see her big puffy jacket, the big puffy volunteer jacket.
I saw where she was going with it.
You're right.
1-1 after 3 over sheet 11.
Looking across, just the 2 games we wanted to keep you updated on, the 2 Ontario-Alberta games. In the boys' side of things, the Alberta only scored 1 in the second end, so they now trail Ontario 3-1 after 2 ends of play. They're in the third end right now, and it looks actually like Ontario's drawing for 2.
All sorts of rocks in play on the women's side, sheet 9.
They're 1-1 after 2, Lyle.
1-1.
Looks like Ontario's sitting a ton, though.
Ontario's sitting 3 from what I can see on the screen.
Yeah. Good draw there by the Ontario skip on the boys' side. So now they lead the Alberta boys 5-1 after 3 ends of play. We'll keep you updated as we can go along here.
Round the rings.
With Lyle and
Brought to you by.
We need some kind of sponsor. Maybe if we patent that, we can get sponsored by somebody and they can bring us free food or something.
Just start making up sponsors and send them the bill later.
So Ben Stringer does a little bit better job there getting the center guard up. That's exactly what Newfoundland's looking here, down 2-1 in the fourth end. BC not wanting to mix things up too much. They just go right to the... Oh. Are we switching turns? Sorry, I got caught. Squirrel. BC goes right into the rings. They were trying to go into the T-line. However, they slipped just back behind the T-line, back 8 foot. They just switched turns. I thought they were coming over to hit this. However, they just switched turns. So Stringer looking to get here. Top 4 foot would be perfect. However, line is kind of the most important thing. So this is where they see most people who don't watch curling as much often disregard how much importance the lead has. But if Stringer can get both of these in good position, oh, they've just lost it.
We talk about this all the time. I mean, in mixed curling or any kind of rec curling, you put your worst player at lead. But that's not the case
no.
If you want to have a chance.
You get to this level and the lead is so important. If the lead can get rocks in good positions.
It's a big shot for Alberta on the women's side, Joel. Facing all kinds of Ontario rocks.
Facing 4, I believe.
4 now. Just trying to draw in for the 1.
Julia Bakos to skip for Team Alberta.
Oh, takes 2 bounces, and I think she's going to give up 3. 4. So Ontario breaking it open on both sides now, Joel.
So Ontario now leading 5-1 in both men's and women's games.
Tough morning for Alberta.
That was tough luck there. I think if they would have swept it a little bit on either side, high-sided it or low-sided it, they would have made the shot. Kind of let it come in, and it kind of geared off and gave up a steal of 4. Back on our sheet, the lead for BC. Troy Chung come a little bit deep with his come around. Not kind of the spot you want when you're up 2-1 with hammer.
Newfoundland just trying to draw around. There's a long ways to go here. Can they drag it?
Looks like he's going to be a little bit light. So Newfoundland, they got their center guards up. However,
there's a bit of a Newfie wall built up there.
Trump would be so proud.
Eyes the buys that builds the wall.
That's a beautiful Newfie reference. Just switching up.
I told you I'm half Newfie. I'm a legitimate half Newfie.
Yeah, there we go.
For you Newfoundland watchers, the family comes from Bell Island. There's like 500 people that live there, maybe more. I don't know.
Does anybody live in anywhere but St. John's in Newfoundland?
Yeah, I think so.
I just thought everybody lived in St. John's and like the surrounding communities.
Bell Island's actually shaped like a bell. Even it's got a little dong thing in the middle.
I don't think dong's the word you're looking for.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Okay, well, we're going to go with it, I guess.
I'll Google that later.
And I apologize for my reference that everybody lives around St. John's. There's beautiful communities around Newfoundland. I was overgeneralizing on my part. I don't want to get in trouble by any people from Newfoundland. So
okay, I'm a local.
So Newfoundland, or BC there, sorry, tried to make kind of a double peel, trying to get some things out of the way. However, they spun kind of things back to the center line. Left 2 Newfoundland guards up there. Young, I don't know if he's so sure if he wants to leave any more of these BC rocks around. However, they're not quite hurting him early in the end. We're still only on second stones, and he kind of has recognized that, and he's going to go right back around the center guard. Rocks behind the T-line don't kill you if you don't have hammer, especially if you're looking to steal. However, at some point, we're going to have to maybe get rid of those just so we don't avoid the big end. This one hanging a little bit on them, maybe a little bit more weight.
Yeah, it did not move like the last one. Now it's coming. No.
This is where it's important to communicate, too. They gave a little bit more ice. When they gave a little bit more ice, they might have done that because the last one overcurled, but the last one actually overcurled because they were less weight. So it's important communication piece between this skip and the second and the lead and everybody sweeping there. You say you actually threw it really good. You were just a little bit light. That's why it overcurled. So then you give a little bit more, you give similar ice, and if they throw the right weight, it should get through. So BC looking to hit this one on the top 12-foot. Trying to roll in, I think, would be the best option. Hitting on the outside could be disaster, so it's important to stay on the inside here.
They will.
They've done just that, and they've actually rolled in right behind.
Guarded.
Beautiful shot there by BC. I think Nathan Young is now realizing if I don't hit some of these, a big end could be developing, so he is going to get rid of some of these.
Is the double there on this side? Yeah.
They'll be playing kind of a similar shot we saw BC play in the
trying to roll
second
on top.
End. Yep. They'll play either the double if it's there, or if they do roll on top, they're happy with that as well.
Are you just Googling St. John?
I got to find this Bell Island.
Oh, yeah, Bell Island. So that's what I was talking about. That is the bell dong-making sound.
Still don't think that's the right term.
I think it is.
Good shot there by Newfoundland. Very similar result we saw in the second end by BC. Newfoundland's now rolled in behind cover, sitting one. And Sato realizing now that he's got to get rid of some of this stuff.
So on one side I have a famous curling name, is Peterman. And on the other side I have a famous Newfoundland singer name, Stockwood.
Stuff.
And if you're from Newfoundland, you know who she is. I guarantee it, because Brett Gallant knows who she is. Famous for the song You Jerk. Dominated the Newfoundland airwaves forever.
You jerk.
Joel knows it.
You jerk. You are such a
Written about her ex-husband, Joel.
Interesting.
Was-
Oh, what a strike. Lost.
Changed things a little bit.
Good.
Was it the call, Joel?
I believe so. They kind of got both. The only problem is they kind of left their center guard right there. And they did jam on the back. So kind of now the force is in play, kind of out of nowhere. You make one good hit and roll if you're Newfoundland. BC jams something in there, and all of a sudden Newfoundland's one kind of hit away from sitting two, and the force is on.
Use the force.
A little Star Wars reference.
TM.
So they're actually trying to hit this on the nose.
And they did.
They're trying to hit that on the nose, maybe a little bit on the outside, roll to the outside.
No, BC was the same thing, but they're asking for the roll.
So it's important. Newfoundland was trying to hit on the nose there because if you happen to roll in behind cover, even though it would be dead buried by the guard, all of a sudden BC could freeze to that and all of a sudden get it kind of end out of nowhere. So good shot there by Follett. One of the two.
Well, you got the roll, but the opposite direction. So 2 tight games here, Joel, in 10 and 11. Women are also tied at 1, and it's looking like the exact same pretty much end is developing. Trying for the blank here, I think. Correct?
No, they still got a few rocks left there. So Newfoundland, do they have hammer? I believe they do, so they might try and hit and roll behind and get a 2 spot out of that. Back on our rink. I'm thinking about this rink.
Our pebbled ice surface.
Rectangle ice thingy. Newfoundland's going to try once again. Important to stay right on nose. Maybe a little bit to the outside would be ideal. However, rolling in behind. Don't want to roll. It's not bad. We'll kind of give the decision here to Sato. You can kind of tell, if I had to read his mind here, if I had to go in his mind, he's thinking, a hit's a good option. However, if I could also freeze here.
He's going to go for the hit.
The only problem with the freeze is if you're ever light and you don't make that, all of a sudden the steel's in play. So I do like his call here. Try and play a light takeout weight, maybe like board weight, hit and roll over to the open side. You might still be forced. However, you're happy with the force, and maybe you'll keep a 3-1 lead. All of a sudden you give up a steal, it kind of changes the momentum going into the break. So lead, Hayato Sato. Gonna attempt to hit this Newfoundland stone. This one seems to be falling a little bit on him. But it is coming back. Important to stick here because you don't want to allow Newfoundland the chance to bury one around. Followed encouraging his skip.
Well,
However, by it sticking around, even though Newfoundland is shot, they might make a takeout there, because if you ever miss this draw, or if you leave a double, all of a sudden it's 2. But it's an aggressive call if you're looking for the steal. I like it. And he just made the draw to the button last end, so he's probably feeling pretty good about draw weight. If they could ever get this buried Lau right on the top of the forefoot, dead buried, you get your steal, and you're actually making him forced to look at 2.
yeah, he made that draw to perfection last end.
So once again, looking around that 14.5 second. You could maybe throw the other turn at this one too, because if you throw the other turn, the double is probably rolling out. You would have to play maybe an axe double. So, however, maybe a little bit more comfortable with this side. He knew the path from last end when he threw the draw. So we'll see how close Nathan can get here. I'll time it again for you, Lau. We can tell how close he's going to be.
Well, they're on this one earlier.
$16-2. This should be light. 16-2 is not the 14.5 we're looking for, which will give chance to BC here. The boys got about as much out of that as they could. However, a little bit light by Nathan Young. Now a nose hit for Hayato Sato. We'll give a deuce back to Team BC and a 4-1 lead going into the break.
Well, it was an aggressive call, Joel, but
it's kind of one of those risk-reward things. If you make it, you're in a real good position to steal.
and over on sheet 11, wrapped up into the break. It's going to be 1-1 after Newfoundland through for the blank.
Meanwhile, our Alberta boys and Alberta girls still battling, both down 5-1, but looking to get something going here in the fourth end before the break. Hayato Sato got to hit this right on the nose to get his 2 points. He's done just that. Great shot. I love that sportsmanship, too. You saw actually both the Newfoundland front-end players raise their hand in acknowledgement of the good shot. It's always good to have. Maybe that's why these guys are winning so much sportsmanship awards.
Yeah, they're all just nice guys out there.
So 4-1, BC will lead at the break here in the fourth end break. Newfoundland will have hammer going into the second half of the game. A quick update across the rings before we go get some water and some coffee and some snacks. We got Manitoba. The men are leading 5-2 over Quebec after 3 ends of play. Manitoba and Quebec ladies are tied at 2 after 3 ends of play. PEI men lead the Northwest Territories 4-1 after 4 ends. The PEI ladies lead 4-0 over the Territories after 3 ends of play. The Saskatchewan men and New Brunswick men are tied at 1 after 4 ends. New Brunswick taking it to Saskatchewan this morning on the girls' side, 6-0 after 3 ends of play. And Ontario, we've updated these scores. Ontario boys and girls are both leading Alberta 5-1. I think the boys' end just ended. I didn't actually see what happened.
Yeah, I actually think Alberta scored there. Maybe?
We'll
I'm
update
not
you. That
sure.
is when we come back from break, we'll update you on that. And our featured sheet, BC leading 4-1 after 4 ends. And the girls' game, Newfoundland and BC tied at 1 after 4 ends of play. We'll be back in the booth after our break. It's been Lyle Peterman and Joel Peterman up in the booth at the 2019 Canada Winter Games from Red Deer, Alberta. So back in action here at the Canada Winter Games. We got BC leading Newfoundland 4-1 after 4 ends of play. Newfoundland will have the hammer here in the 5th end. Lead for BC. Should know his name by now. Troy Chung throws his first rock right on the top 4 foot. Ends up just kind of right on the tee line. And lead for Newfoundland. Ben Stringer throws up the corner guard. So right back into the action here. So Troy Chung now. Ideally, we would get this just short of the rings. If they could sit the one buried on the button and then have a short guard on it would be kind of ideal for them. So updates on the 2 Alberta-Ontario games. Ontario actually stole one in the 4th end, the boys. So the Ontario boys now lead the Alberta boys 6-1 after 4 ends of play. And on the girls' side of things, Julia Bakos and Alberta actually are currently, as we speak, drawing for 2. So they would get back into that game. I'll update you as soon as that happens. Troy Chung's rock for BC overcurls a little bit. He does get the center guard up, but he leaves his first rock that he threw a little bit exposed. So now Ben Stringer going to try and take that out. Julia Bakos' rock coming in here nice. I think she's got a beauty. Good draw there by Julia Bakos and Team Alberta. So they're back in this game a little bit. 5-3 Ontario leads on the girls' side of things. After 4 ends of play, they'll go to the break and try and recoup and get back in that game. Ben Stringer on our side of things for Newfoundland. Taps the BC rock back 8 foot. They do sit one here on the side of the 4 foot. So now the second, Dawson Ballard, 18-year-old out of Surrey, BC. Ideally here, you try and hit this right on the nose. Don't want to roll too much because if you roll anywhere inside, you're rolling right behind the tee line. So important to try and stay as close as you can to nose here. However, nonetheless, he is going to hit on the inside. He's going to roll kind of edge to edge, a little bit behind the tee line.
I'm back.
Oh, hi, Lau.
I'm back and loud. There we go.
Lau was on the phone. Apparently my mom wants to talk to Lau.
It's been a very Peterman-full day here for me.
Alberta got 3? That can't be right. Sorry. They've marked 3 for Alberta in that end. I thought it was only 2. Maybe I'm wrong. Interesting.
I would say the scorekeepers are probably more accurate than you.
It's going to be one of those I told you so moments if they change that to 2. However, at this point, I am wrong.
This just in.
Joel was wrong. Good shot there by Newfoundland. They hit the BC stone. Kind of rolled in behind. They're kind of sitting 1 here now. Kind of buried BC trying to get through the hole. They'll whack on the center guard. So Newfoundland now sitting 1. They got a corner guard up. They could kind of go around top 8 foot, maybe half buried. You don't want to go too deep because you don't want to set up double. So Nathan Young indicating just like I did, kind of top 8 foot dead buried is kind of where he wants to go. Basically like the Tony Romo of curling, I'll predict the shot before it happens. You're welcome.
Oh, some soft brags over here next to me.
Absolutely. So Jill Officer was actually just announced as Chelsea Carey's 5th for Worlds. Which is kind of interesting. Lyle, do you have any thoughts on that? Jill Officer, who's actually retired, sort of? She was the 5th for Jennifer Jones at the Scotties this past week, and now she's going to serve as Carey's 5th at Worlds. Kind of a cool honor for her. She is voted the best second of all time, as voted by the kind of media and stuff. So very interesting that Chelsea Carey would pick her there for their 5th. I believe it's because a testament to Jill's amazing teamwork, and she's an amazing teammate. Jocelyn said that.
I was going to say, it's some of the confidence, too, to know you have that sitting behind you just for her curling knowledge on one side, and then if anything did go wrong, feel fine just putting her in the game.
Absolutely.
She curled great in those 2 games for Jones that she had to play.
Yep, absolutely. So Newfoundland comes around. Come around for third shot. They are dead buried here, so kind of a good setup shot. This one's kind of taken off, too, on Joshua Mickey. They might jam here. Oh, he actually got it over the top.
Beautiful shot.
That's one of the ones that if you're Team BC, you're like, didn't mean to do that. However, I'll take it. Joshua kind of throwing his hands up like, I don't know what happened to that one. However, the result wasn't too terrible. I think that happens more at the club level, doesn't it, Lau? Didn't mean to do that, but it'll...
We call that plan B often.
Or C.
Sometimes C, D, E. Yep. He's going to get that one right in the nose.
So good shot there by Sam Follett. It's
For
right
now.
on the nose. They're set up kind of for their 2. It's kind of what you want for Newfoundland to get back in this game. Big shout out to our sponsor here of the event too, Tim Hortons. The amount of Tim Hortons coffees and
Always fresh.
and always fresh. Tim Hortons coffees and Cliff Bars I've eaten this week are pretty sure that's my diet currently. If I start to lose weight, I'll maybe patent this diet. Speaking of the word patent.
Now, how did you get this much time off work for this, Joel?
So I'm a teacher here in Red Deer, and the Catholic school division here in Red Deer actually gave all their teachers the week off. It's kind of our early spring break. We don't get a spring break now, but so they gave the public school division the first week of the Canada Games off, and they gave the Catholic school division the second week off, just to kind of get more volunteers.
Great timing.
Yeah.
It worked out well for you on this.
Exactly. Worked out well for me to kind of announce, and maybe worked out not so well for people having to hear me every day. They might be sick of me by now.
Well.
You're just no comment?
Get a taste of what it's like to be a Peterman, I guess. Sick of hearing Joel.
That's exactly it. So Sam Follett now trying to split the house. Ideally, if he could get here, and the side 8 foot would be ideal. They're kind of losing it to line a little bit, so it's important to get second shot. They've done just that. Good sweeping there by the boys. The buys.
Eyes the bias.
Yeah. So now sitting 2, basically straight across from each other. Both kind of biting the 8 foot. Newfoundland sitting 2. Now skip Hayato Sato. Going to try and hit this one. Roll as far as you can over to that other side. Kind of group those stones together. It's kind of what you're looking for.
No, we had a Sato in hockey in the AJ 4 or 5 years ago. That's where I'm getting the pronunciation there, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, you could be right.
If you've heard other things in the curling world.
I haven't. So Sato we're going to go with. And now our first segment of I Told You So. We're looking over on the Alberta-Ontario sheet, and it was indeed just 2. The scoreboard was wrong, and I was right. I don't get to hear that very often, so I was right.
The reverb of your own voice in your ear right now.
That's true.
Is all you need. Great shot. Another roll. Can they get it buried?
Not quite. Great shot there by Sato, though. Good weight choice there. So now Newfoundland, they could be a little bit aggressive with this, too. If you could over roll in behind, maybe get corner frozen to that blue, you could set up a 3. The only worry with that is if you would leave the freeze for BC to kind of get it out of the end and force you to 1. The option is there. We'll see which one they take.
I like Newfoundland's pre-shot ritual.
What were they doing? I wasn't even paying attention.
Well, they just always give a good high five as Young settles into the hack before he comes back.
Nice. A little positive reinforcement.
Yeah.
Trust it,
A little,
Chelsea.
you got this. Yeah, trust it, Chelsea.
Or you got this,
You
Jen.
got this. I'm glad you brought that back.
So Young here now. I like the weight choice here. It's Locks indicating the second for Newfoundland, indicating that the weight is a little bit less than they expected. The weight choice is nice here because they can manage the stone nicely. It is curling now for them. Look at this hit and roll. Beautiful shot there by Young. Lyle like that one.
Fans making some noise out there.
Including Lyle, who gave it a little clap there. You're supposed to be unbiased here.
Well, it was just a good shot.
It was just a good shot. Good shot.
Golf clap for good shots.
It was a very good shot there by Nathan Young. Gonna force the hand of BC, though. This is kind of what I was talking about where you're worried. If you make the roll a little bit too good, all of a sudden you force BC's hand, and they're going to have to play a freeze, and all of a sudden you could be forced to one if they make a good freeze here. We haven't seen Sato draw as much, though, so he hasn't drawn since about, when was it, the first end? Where he drew for 2?
Yep. Second?
First or second, yeah. First end, I think.
First end, you're right. That's not the second segment of You Were Right.
This is quite the sensual music.
Light the fire. There's been some interesting songs come on, actually, I can just hear in my ear.
Yep. So random.
Just set the iPod to shuffle. See what happens.
So Sato here looking to come right down onto the corner. He looks like he's got a good one here. The important thing is not to bounce off. Look at this shot here by Sato.
Little separation.
But he did get shot rock. And we talked about this. This was the fear about rolling that way. You would have been guaranteed your 2 if you're Newfoundland and rolled open side. By taking on the risk of rolling perfect in behind, you force BC's hand. And Sato has done a fantastic job of now forcing Newfoundland to 1. Sato hasn't missed much today. The kid is on fire.
Now Young's facing a draw for the second time in a row. Or second end in a row, sorry.
So if you could put this anywhere.
What does he need, 14-5?
Yep, 14-5. There, look at you, Lau. Nailed it. Anywhere in the 4-foot will get his single point. You always hate that as a skip when you make basically a perfect shot like he did on his first and then still have to draw for a single point on your second. And that's just kind of the risk you had to take if you wanted to try and bring 3 into play if you were Newfoundland.
Looks like it's going to be there, Joel.
14-2, so a little bit faster than we've seen. However, should still be in the 4-foot. Kid's got draw weight when he needs it.
Perfect. Well, Newfoundland takes the 1. Cuts the deficit at 4-2.
BC will have hammer here in the 6th end.
Kind of think Newfoundland's got to be aggressive here now, right, for the steal?
Exactly. You got it exactly right.
On the women's side here, final stone for Newfoundland. Facing 2?
Yeah. Taking on a little bit of a double.
Oh, and they're going to give it the steal of 1.
So BC now leading that game 2-1 after 5 ends. My apologies. I am happy to report, not that I'm a homer, however, happy to report that Alberta boys have a nose hit here for 3 points in their game. A nose hit will make the score 6-4. So a big shot here by Nathan Molberg. Great group of boys out of St. Albert. 2 out of St. Albert, 2 out of Calgary.
Great group of boys, eh?
Group of boys. Group of boys. Group of boys. Oop, now I'm knocking into my mic. So we'll keep you updated on that game.
Newfoundland just puts up the high guard.
Exactly kind of what we expected, Lau. Like you said, they had to be aggressive, now down 2.
There you go, 3 for Alberta, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You can hear the crowd.
Crowd, yeah.
Very pro-Alberta crowd here.
Just like the play-by-play announcer.
Absolutely. So Alberta back in that game on the boys' side of things. 6-4, now Ontario leads after 5 ends of play. And the girls also battling their way back. Sato trying to keep things simple. They've kind of seen similar strategy here throughout the game. Sato going to take things simple and just put one in the rings. Not want to take too many chances. Young going to go right around it with Ben Stringer. Right around the guard, sorry.
When did Alberta change their colors?
That's new this year. The new logo. Alberta Curling kind of has adopted this kind of province-wide organization instead of they used to have the Southern Alberta, Northern Alberta, and Peace Country. SACA, NACA, and PCA.
Yeah.
PACA. I don't know what they called that. But now they've kind of adopted, they've kind of amalgamated. Big word for you folks at home. That's my big word of the day. Amalgamated, and now they are the Alberta Curling Federation, or Alberta Curling Organization. I don't know what they're. AC something. Alberta Curling.
They changed the Alberta blue to like a teal.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm a fan of that or not.
So the new logo actually looks pretty cool, but the new colors.
I love the logo. The colors, I'm a traditionalist, though.
So that's the new logo there, Lau, which I think is pretty cool. However, the colors are. So we went from that.
Well, that's an improvement in the logo front.
The colors are a little bit different, going a little bit more with the gold, teal, blue instead of the traditional royal blue of Alberta.
So will these also govern the Scotties teams and the...
I believe so, yes. Actually, I don't remember what Chelsea Carey was wearing at the Scotties. That's a good question.
Well, I think she was...
Was she still royal blue?
I think she was royal blue. I don't know, though. This is why you have Google with us.
Exactly.
See, it's still royal blue.
Yeah, they're still royal blue.
Huh. The more you know.
The more you know.
And now you know the rest of the story. You heard that on the radio?
No.
That's the story. This is old guy, 2-minute segments about Canadian history.
Perfect. Oof. Update on the Alberta girls sheet. They're now sitting 2, shooting. So Ontario will be facing 2 or 3 with their last stone. So both Alberta teams are clawing their way back. Got to love that resilience. Maybe they learned a little something from Chelsea Carey in that final against Rachel Holman. Never giving up.
I thought that game was over.
I think a lot of people did. But that team just kept on chipping away. So now Newfoundland, they got their rock back 4 foot, just biting the button. And they got a center guard up. However, BC, Dawson Ballard here, the second, is going to try and come by quietly, maybe with like some board control weight.
Last call for ballots for our pin draw. We'll be drawing in 5 minutes. Last call for our ballots for the pin draw.
Gonna get around the guard.
Minutes.
They're working hard, trying to get it by. I think it's going to get by. Now the line is important. Don't want to leave this behind the button. They've left it right on the button, so Newfoundland can either take on the double here or they can freeze right up there. There's the double indication. There's the freeze indication.
So he's got 2 options, Joel.
They're the 2 options. But he's going to go with the double.
Aggressive. We said Newfoundland has to be aggressive.
Absolutely.
Start here.
So there's a pin draw going today. There's a very expensive pin. I think.
Yeah, what does the pin draw mean?
There's a big like fad with pins, Lau.
In curling?
In curling. So like
you collect a pin?
You collect pins. I don't collect any.
And
however, a lot of people are
camera
collecting
person
them.
is showing us her pins.
Yeah. Siha Makata, our amazing camera girl, doing a fantastic job from Lebanon. She's doing an amazing job for us again today.
Will it stay?
Yes, yes it will.
No, that was not the call.
No, the call was to hit on the other side of that, so they hit on the wrong side, kind of rolled towards the wings. You might see BC walk up and, I don't know, kind of interesting situation. You might see them walk up and peel that center guard sometimes, but instead they're going to ignore it, stay on the aggressiveness, and kind of go right behind. So back to the pin thing. The pin trading is a big thing at curling events. Whether you go to the Scotties, the Brier, Worlds, it's always a big thing. So at the Canada Games, they've really adopted that, and they've got this new pin that's like 4 pins in one, basically. That's like the Red Deer Canada Games pin. And they're raffling it off today. They actually
There's only 1 pin?
I think they only have one to give away today. Or maybe a couple. I don't know. Either way, it's a nice pin. People who are pin enthusiasts really appreciate this pin. So now there's a draw today. They actually asked me to make the question, so I know the answer. If you want to put your name in for the draw,
Would you say it's a Pinterest?
Ooh, a big Pinterest to people. That's a good pun. I like it.
Yeah. Punny.
So we're commentating curling. We're back to the curling, I think. Sam Follett here for Team Newfoundland. BC didn't quite get far enough, and I think Newfoundland's actually second shot. So this shot is a big shot for Newfoundland. If they can get by tight, the important thing is the line. Got to get by tight, so the boys are sweeping it to keep it straight.
Here comes the guard.
They get by the first one, but I don't know if they're going to get by the second one.
It was light, too. Uh-oh.
All of a sudden, BC can hit this, roll in, and sit 3.
What was that switch you just switched from the wall?
So that actually switches our overhead cam. So I can go to the far end, or I can go to this end. Gives us a better view.
That's impressive. The technology in the Red Deer Curling Club.
Yep. State-of-the-art facility here. They actually have that at numerous clubs now. Lyle.
Yeah?
Yeah, they do.
Is this your home facility, or do you curl at Innisfail?
I curl out in Innisfail.
Okay.
Yeah.
Used to curl out of here, though.
Yep. So Joshua and Mickey there, narrowly avoiding the jam. However, they're now sitting 3. Yeah, they gave us the overhead cam so we can comment on it. However, our viewers back at home
cannot see that.
Cannot see that. It'd be nice if we somehow could link in Mr. Webcaster. No,
It's not even looking.
No, he's not looking. However, back to the action here.
Newfoundland in tough here, Joel.
They are facing 3, down 4-2.
They're in a sticky wicket.
Good reference to a bar out in Newfoundland.
Is it?
I think so. Pretty sure the Sticky Wicket is a pub out in Newfoundland. I'm going to look that up.
1, 2. Good shot.
And he gets a little bit of a roll.
Well, partially buried. I think, Joel, I'm pretty sure BC is shot. What do you think? That's tough.
I don't know.
That's close.
I'm going to trust their young guys out there, and BC hitting it indicates that he thinks actually Newfoundland may be shot. The Sticky Wicket is not in St. John's. It's in Victoria.
It just sounded very Newfie to me.
Yeah.
The Sticky Wicket.
Sticky Wicket is in Victoria. It's actually a really nice pub.
Have you been?
I have. We were out there for baseball nationals.
Yeah, you didn't know where it was and which side of the which coast it was in.
Yeah, well,
I guess you've been all over the country.
Yeah, I was confused.
All right, so great shot there for BC.
Rolls kind of right in behind. However, by rolling there, it will allow the double attempt here by Young. The only other option you have if you wanted to be real aggressive would be to play this same draw, but he's going to take on the double. So Nathan Young wearing his patented toque or beanie or whatever you call it from wherever you're from.
And that is the 18th time the word patent has come up on this broadcast.
So Nathan looking to make the double here. If he can make the double, he would sit 2, I believe. He would just be biting the rings. You might see BC ignore everything and go around the World's Fair. However, important to make the double here. Got to keep it straight. They're kind of on and off it now, so he must be close. Good shot there.
There he goes, 1, 2, and sticks around.
So 2 doubles, one by Sam Follett and one by Nathan Young. Have kind of got Newfoundland right out of trouble here. You were saying they're in a sticky wicket, and they've kind of clawed their way out of it.
No, I love that term. I mean, my first patent of the day.
Yep.
Besides that bar, they probably already want that patent.
They probably, yeah.
Free advertising for the Sticky Wicket Pub.
In Victoria, not St. John's. You're welcome, Victoria.
Speaking of free advertising, this is delicious. You said it's from Red Deer?
Absolutely. No Sack Meats, pepperoni stick.
Wow.
Shout out to No
How
Sack
do I
Meats.
live near Red Deer my whole life and don't know what that is?
No Sack Meats. Actually, two of the students that I teach actually go to Camille that are No Sacks. They're part of the No Sack family group company, their family meat company. Every year, I usually get gifts from my students, and the gift that they always give me, the gift that they always give me is a massive thing of beef jerky from No Sack Meats. So shout out to No Sack Meats. They do a fantastic job supplying the meat. They're one of the big sponsors here for the Red Deer Canada Winter Games. Blah.
Meat does make a great gift.
It does.
Oh, great shot there for BC.
Not quite get shot, though. So we're going to run into that same kind of situation we saw in the fourth end, where Young is going to decide to ignore this and go around everything. However, if he doesn't get into the rings like we saw in the fourth, it will allow a hit and stick for 2 for BC. So very similar situation.
But I like the call.
Absolutely. You have to do it.
He just made his last draw.
Yep.
He's made more draws than not today.
You have to do it if you're Newfoundland. Down 4-2, you got to take some risks. As Lyle indicated earlier, you got to be aggressive.
Be aggressive.
Bring it on.
Great movie. Cinematic history. We are just all over the genres here.
all over.
If you can hear the background music, which I think you can, because I can hear it in my ear. So
we're getting texts from our viewers too. Apparently, the Dynasty designed the new Alberta jackets, and they picked the colors, not Alberta. Apparently, Alberta traditional yellow is hard to sublimate. I don't actually know what the word sublimate
straight from Nancy?
Yeah. Don't actually know what the word sublimate means, but it sounds important.
I feel like she tuned in the moment she got off the phone with me then. 'Cause previously she did not know I was on the broadcast.
No. So Newfoundland does indeed get first shot. That was the important thing there, to sit 2. So now you're going to see BC either draw for their single point. Sato's also contemplating maybe just run this little blue short back. A little tougher angle. But he's indeed decided to draw. We haven't seen him miss many of these. The kid's playing pretty fantastic here today.
I like the hand gestures by the Alberta skip over here.
It's really important in competitions like this because the atmosphere out there, you might have different people yelling at the same time as you and the fans cheering while you're throwing. And to not only implement, obviously, your verbal communication, but you got to actually have some nonverbal communication, too, to communicate with your sweepers. Communication is key. So Sato here, looking to draw for his single point. Anywhere biting the 8-foot should give him the single. He's been close on everything here today. He's got a great judge by both Joshua Mickey and Troy Chung. They've done a fantastic job judging things today.
I think he's got it.
He's just got to bite the 8-foot. Backing away from it now. Nathan Young going to try and give it his best. But it does going to stop back 8-foot.
BC forced to 1.
Yeah. Kind of the second best option there if you're Team Newfoundland. You're obviously looking for the steal. However, you're not too disappointed when you get a forced for BC. Coaches are out there right now, so I'm not sure what's happening. Somebody give me an indication. Anybody know? Coaches are out there talking to them right now, which you don't often see in between the 6th and 7th end.
Just a little pep talk. Is there a discrepancy there?
I don't know what's going on.
I don't know, Joel.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Nonetheless, 5-2 BC after 6 ends of play. Newfoundland will have the hammer, probably looking to get at least 2 here. So they got to stay on the aggressiveness a little bit. Try and orchestrate a 2, maybe a 3 spot. Get right back in this game. However, BC in control right now. Leading 5-2. Quick update from around the rings. Lyle, can you see way over on A? I believe Manitoba's way up in that game.
Over on sheet 2? Is that what you're talking about?
Sheet 2,
What's
sheet 8. Yeah,
Okay,
A,
let's
2.
stick with the numbers, Joel, because there's no letters out there. Yeah, it's 5-2 or 5-2 right now. Manitoba over BC or Quebec.
8-2.
8-2. Oh yeah, you're right. That's a far ways away.
That's a far ways away.
3-2 right now. Manitoba over Quebec on the women's side. Correct.
Yep.
Oh yeah, there we go. 7-1 now. PEI over Northwest Territories on the men's side. 5-0, 7-0. PEI over Northwest Territories in the women's. The men here for Saskatchewan lead it 2-1. Saskatchewan women are down 7-1 to Saskatchewan, or to New Brunswick. Over on Alberta, the home side here, it's getting closer, Joel. I can't see it. There's a guy standing in front of it right now.
Oh, there he goes.
There we go. 6-5, 6-4. And they are facing 2 here.
So Alberta putting the pressure on, trying to get back in that game. Not quite his last rock. However, he is facing 2 Alberta Stones.
The Alberta women, Joel, they are up as well, or sorry, down 7-3. 6-3. Curling scores are tough to read.
Why don't they just make it easy? We need like the electronic scoreboards from the Curling Canada events where they just post
it's just a number, not following a line down the middle.
I think they still do the line down the middle, but they at least have a total for you at the end.
Yeah.
Or you could just
That's
read
all
the total.
I really want is a total.
Our sheet obviously 5-2 for BC after 6 ends of play.
Well, this just in, Joel. I see the A, the B, the C, and the D now. I
So
didn't
there
realize that
is
was
letters.
below.
Oh my goodness.
This just in, Joel was right.
For the 3rd time?
But the primary number on top is what I would go with.
Absolutely. That's what most people are going with. However, there is letters
Why do
out
they need both?
It's a good question.
And why does 2 go to A and 3 go to B? Like, I don't know.
Couldn't tell you.
Where's sheet 1?
It's where the bleachers are.
Ah. Same place as sheet 12, I guess.
Yep. And our last update since Lyle's lost track, lost focus, squirrel. BC ladies lead Newfoundland 3-1 after 6 ends of play. Back in our action, Ben Stringer, the lead for Team Newfoundland, throws up the perfect corner guard, and he's gone around it with his second. BC kind of came in both with theirs, top 4-foot with the first and kind of side 4-foot with the second. So they are sitting 2 without hammer here in the 7th end. Now facing 3 BC Stones, kind of all conglomerated. Lots of bad word. Conglomerated. Now Newfoundland going to take a timeout here and kind of discuss their options, facing 3 BC Stones. All kind of around the 4-foot. Need to find a way how they can get out of this.
Is there a way to get all 3, Joel?
There might be, however, it kind of takes away your option of scoring a big end, because if you do make the triple, I don't know if there's a triple. You might only get rid of 2 of the BC Stones. So I don't mind the freeze. The only worry with the freeze is all of a sudden you put the freeze in there nice, and BC might just guard it up and say, how do you ever get at it? So.
Newfoundland thinks the first time out of the game.
So I think they're actually going to play what they're kind of indicating here. Young's indicating he's going to play some kind of hit and roll in front, maybe make one of the 2 or 2 of the rocks go away and roll on top of the other one. So that's a good option. So he's got to hit just off nose here on the top one. Or either that or he's just freeze. No, he's going to stick with the freeze, I believe. Good call if you want to keep your rock in play. The only danger, like we indicated earlier, is if he does freeze this in there nice, you might see BC just ignore it and throw up a guard, and all of a sudden you have no way of getting it out. However, I can't imagine BC's going to do anything different than peel that corner guard. So Sam Follett here. Sam Follett out of Paradise, Newfoundland. Trying to freeze one in here.
Weight looks good.
Weight looks real good. If you can move this off and stay right in that pocket, there's a great shot.
There is no way to move that yellow, is there?
No. Without losing one of your blues. He's going to call his team down because he knows he can't really get that out.
Teams exchange some timeouts. Is this a timeout?
Not a timeout, just kind of calling his team down.
They got plenty of time left.
Have they called the time? I don't think BC's called one yet.
BC has, no. Down to 8 minutes of thinking time now.
Yeah. So Lyle referring to the thinking time, each team receiving 30 minutes at the start of the game. And there is the timeout indicated. You kind of predicted the future there, Lyle.
Yeah, well, pretty smart. What are the big TVs at the end of the curling club there for, Joel?
The Ritter Producer Center uses those to like display advertisements during like league play.
Okay.
They sometimes put on actual like hockey games and curling games for people that are curling just in regular league play that they can watch out there.
Want to see how the Oilers are doing?
No,
that
goodness.
Kind of
We talked. Me and my co-anchor yesterday talked about this. I'm just one of those depressed, realistic Oilers fans at this point.
I'm a Flames fan, so I'm having a great time.
No.
7 in a row, Joel.
I've, like, at this point, I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, it's fun.
So BC going to call a timeout here. They're going to bring in some awesome experience, and we've talked about this before. Bring in their experience. Brian Mickey, he was the 2000 Brier champ and world champ, playing beside Greg McCauley. Brian's dad, Fuji, like we indicated, he's the Canadian mixed champ and also has a lot of experience himself. So that's the 3 generations you see all at once here. Our camera person's done an awesome job of kind of zooming in on them here for you. So Brian and his son Joshua and the team kind of discuss their best options here.
So you coach, Joel. What's your call here?
If I'm the coach, what do I call here? I personally like.
Do you think you could get that yellow out if you were really thin?
You're really thin? I don't think so.
Not without taking
Yeah.
at least one blue.
So they're actually going to throw another one into the pile. They're going to try and throw one into the pile, kind of freeze into the pocket. By getting another blue rock into the pocket, it's going to take one more shot to get the yellow promoted. So that's, I think, their thinking here. Freeze one in kind of behind. It's kind of a reverse freeze. You kind of get behind the yellow if you can, maybe tap off, roll in behind, and all of a sudden it takes an extra shot for Newfoundland, sorry, to get in there.
Mickey releases it. They're off it early. It's going to be light.
So we're seeing it overcurl a little bit. It is going to end up light. Joshua just pulling the string a little bit on that one.
Guards that yellow, though, from raising it in, doesn't it?
Yeah, so you might see Newfoundland play some kind of other shot on this other side. You got to start moving some rocks around.
Well, this may be my non-curling knowledge showing right here, Joel, but can you just throw it really hard and try for the double on the right side?
They could, but they're still trying, because they're down 3 low, they want to try and keep things in play as much as they can until later. So what you might see them play is maybe take rid of one of the blues, maybe the outside red one, and roll kind of into the pocket like you just indicated.
Okay, yeah, that makes more sense.
So then you still keep some blue in play. The only problem like that, like you said, BC might just be content with just guarding it up and saying good luck getting these out now. So
yeah,
you run the risk always. You kind of have to weigh your pros and cons, and we're actually going to see our 3rd timeout of this end.
Yeah, no hesitation calling that.
So Jeff Thomas coach for Newfoundland. It's going to call another timeout here. You see him trying to indicate the timeout. Using the universal T sign. There's the timeout called, and now we'll see what Coach Thomas can help them out with.
2 timeouts again?
2 timeouts, so they'll be out. That's Newfoundland's last timeout. However,
you got to get a feeling this end is kind of crucial, though.
Absolutely. Both teams, 3 timeouts here in the last couple shots, so both teams are really know how much importance this is.
Newfoundland women get 1 rock out to hit shot as they trail BC as well, 3-1. Alberta still in tough on both men and women, Joel.
I believe the girls just gave up a steal of 1, so they're down 7-3. The boys are down 8-4. So Ontario teams have come to play this week. Still in our timeout here. They're going to try and see what they can do. They get 1.5 minutes for each timeout. So Coach Jeff Thomas, the dad of Colin Thomas, a junior curler out of Newfoundland. Went to quite a few junior championships for Newfoundland. Now battling his side on the men's side. Coach Thomas comes with a lot of experience. Sam Follett, Team Newfoundland, looking to try and maneuver some rocks in the right position so they can get maybe at least a 2 out of this. And kind of like I indicated to you, Lyle, I think they're going to play the hit on this outside blue and roll kind of into the pocket that we see.
It's one of those shots, too, where I guess plan B isn't the worst thing.
No, you make a double, you're not too disappointed. So the important thing here is to hit on the inside of it. Hit on the inside half of the rock and roll somewhere into that pile. Sam Follett here.
Trying to hold the line.
Going early. It's curling a little bit early on them, but important, like I said, to hit on the inside of this. They are, and they roll right into that pocket. How do you get rid of those yellows, Lyle?
Yeah, don't. What, 2 inches from a full freeze?
Yeah.
The back one?
See, this is where...
Do you see BC call a timeout now, Joel?
I don't think so. This is where, like I said, you might see BC content of just guarding it up and saying, how do you get rid of our 2 blues? Because you could get rid of 1, but you're not getting rid of both with 1 shot by Newfoundland here now. It rolled a little bit too far and kind of took away both angles. So BC might just say, and kind of what Sato's indicating here, he's going to say, I'm going to guard this, and you're going to take 2 shots basically to get rid of both my blues. And that is exactly what he's calling.
Predicting the future, Joel.
Yep. You're welcome, everybody.
BC skips Sato. Throwing the guard.
So depth is important on this guard. You don't want to take these ones for granted. Sato's kind of try and get this about halfway, maybe tight. You don't want to come too deep, though, because all of a sudden if you leave an angle for Newfoundland, they might try and run it in and get rid of one of the rocks of BC's and get the guard out of the place. So depth important here. Be in that 2-3 zone like we talked with the Furby system.
I'd say that's pretty much perfect.
It's kind of right where they called, wasn't it, Lau? Overcurled a little bit is the only thing.
Sato gets down, sees if he can. You can see a piece of it, Joel, but what, a quarter of a rock maybe?
Yeah, thin quarter. Really important end here. Newfoundland really thinking things through here.
Newfoundland may have got a bit of a gift by that just slight over curl at the end. Are they going to go for the free? No.
I think it's a little bit too late to freeze. You got to move one of these because you got to move 2 stones, and you only got 2 of your own left. So if they could ever move this, maybe back into the back 12 to sit at least second, maybe third, fourth. All of a sudden, BC is basically sitting 1, and they got to hope that you don't get out. So Young, delicate little shot here. He's got to have Lau probably, I'm calling back line, maybe hack weight. I obviously can't hear their discussion, so I'm just guessing. Back line, hack weight. Move that rock that's at the top of the 4 foot. Move it into the back of the 8 foot. And try to stick around. Force BC to a little bit of a decision. Important thing is to move that, though, so they got to make sure they get by.
Here it comes.
Newfoundland sweepers have done a good job all day. They got to get this one by for them. I think they've done just that. We're going to see a good shot here.
Oh, great shot, Newfoundland.
Pushes it right back.
They may even be shot there, Joel. That's close.
So Newfoundland sitting, we think, maybe 1. BC sitting second shot, but Newfoundland also sitting 3rd and 4th. So right now, it's a big shot here for Sato to keep the advantage in this game. If he were to ever rack, we might see a shot for 4 or for 3. So I think your best option here, if you're Sato, would be to hit this a little bit on the inside, roll towards the center line, roll it maybe into that side blue, and all of a sudden, it's a tough shot for Newfoundland. Important thing, though, most important thing is to get rid of this stone and stick around. So Hayato Sato, he's had a fantastic game so far. If he could hit this nose or anywhere close to nose, he's going to be pretty happy with that result. But a big shot nonetheless. Never a gimme when you get ice that's curling like this.
Looks good, Joel.
Just got to curl a little bit, but I think he's got a good one, Lau. You're right. Rolls a little bit to the outside, and by rolling to the outside,
is the double there?
He will leave the double, and I think Newfoundland's got to take it on just based on the scoreboard. Important there, if he would have stayed on nose, there wouldn't have been in the double. Now that he's rolled kind of a little bit to the outside, I think if you're Newfoundland, you got to take this double on. So it's going to be about a half a rock. Thick half, maybe 2/3, roll straight across. All you have to do is move the other blue just into the 12 foot, and you would score your 3 points. Not an easy shot by any means, but it is there for 3 points, and Newfoundland could get right back in this game.
Good news, it's not far off what he just threw.
Quick update before Nathan throws this rock. Ontario men have beaten Alberta men. So Ontario will go to 7-1, and Alberta will drop to 6-2. So here it is, Nathan. Big shot here in the 7th end. He's got to hit about half a rock.
It might flash.
He's got to curl up. I think they might have swept this a little bit too much early, and he has. He's going to go underneath it. It'll be a steal of 1 for BC. A big momentum shot there. BC will steal 1, and they'll go up 6-2 going into the last end of play. Missed opportunity maybe for Newfoundland there, Lau.
At this level, do you shake at that or no? 6-2?
I think that's what they're contemplating. You can see Newfoundland kind of discussing this as a team here. They're looking down towards their fearless leader, Nathan Young. Still looking towards him. At this point, it's getting awkward.
No one wants to make that call until they've got indication.
No, absolutely.
They're going to call Young down. No, we're playing.
They're going to call Young down to talk about it quickly. BC's going to, you have to get ready to throw as if you're BC. You got to assume you're playing. Sato here, the skip for BC, also kind of waiting on Newfoundland's decision. You can tell he's not made a shot call yet. However, BC going to throw it through nonetheless, and I guess we're playing. I don't mind playing here, Lyle. There's kind of the pros and cons, and we've talked about kind of this before, but you either keep playing and you get more used to the ice that you're going to be playing on.
Yeah, you're 6-1. You've got playoffs coming up most likely, right?
Yeah, you got playoffs coming. So there's two things. You could either look at it as if we quit now, we get maybe a little bit more time to eat between games, a little bit more time to relax. However, by playing, we get a little bit more experience on the ice. So
a little more practice time.
Yep. So you could look at it both ways.
And heck, stranger things have happened.
Yeah, that's true. 5 rock rule. If you get a couple guards and a few misses, you might actually get a 4 out of it. So,
although BC's defensive play has been
pretty on point.
Pretty on point this game.
And you like these ones if you're lead Troy Chung, just throwing it right through. Don't have to worry about anything. You'd be good at these shots, Lau.
The backhanded compliment. Never heard one.
So we have a few finals out there for you. Manitoba men have defeated Quebec men. That score finished 8-3. Quebec women and Manitoba women are still playing. They're in the 8th end. Quebec leading 4-3. PEI men have defeated Northwest Territories 7-1. PEI girls have also defeated Northwest Territories 10-0. New Brunswick versus Saskatchewan on the boys' side of things. New Brunswick's leading 3-2 after 6. They're in the 7th end now. And New Brunswick girls are leading Saskatchewan 7-3, playing in the 8th end. Ontario, we've indicated that on the boys' side of things, picked up 2 in the 7th and one came home with a 10-4 win. And Ontario ladies are leading 7-3, playing in the 7th end. So they're a little bit behind us. Our sheet, the featured sheet, BC men leading 6-2 over Newfoundland, playing in the 8th. And the final sheet, BC girls are leading Newfoundland girls 4-1, playing in the 8th end.
Great round the rings there, Joel.
Oh, thank you. Not much going on in this
Flawless.
end. Couple corner guards, couple throw-throughs. BC hasn't made an attempt on anything. So now Newfoundland with their 2 corner guards. Got to start going around things and hoping for misses. You never like that as a team if you're hoping for some misses, but when you're down 4, it's kind of what you got to do. Ooh, good sweep.
Just got it by the guard, and it's buried.
It actually might come out the other side. Good draw weight there.
Sato makes the call pretty quick to remove that one.
This is where it's appealing to try and get the rock in the house, Lyle. But a mature call would be to just go peel that guard, because if you ever flash this wide and leave the guard up, you all of a sudden might get yourself in trouble. Nonetheless, they're going to go after the one in the house. You're telling yourself, if you're throwing this, the way I'm going to miss is tight, because if I get the guard, I'm not too disappointed. Not touching it. Hopefully he gets enough. He will. Crazy the finish they're getting there. For that rock to just get by and then be able to hit it easy on that side just shows how much it's curling here in Red Deer. Big shout out to Wade and his staff. Getting kind of shout outs all week to them, but the ice has just been fantastic here in Red Deer.
And I'm sure a lot of these young guys don't get a chance to curl on this good ice.
Definitely not. So, fantastic facility here in Red Deer. It's got to be state of the art across the country, if not the world. So, two good come arounds there, though.
And so now Sato takes your advice and just peels the guard up front.
Exactly. You get rid of the guard, there's nothing left to hide behind.
This one is fully buried, though. So.
Yeah. Mickey makes no mistake. Peeling the guard, losing the shooter. Young's going to try and use this other guard now. But down 4 points, you're down to your last couple stones here. You got to make a couple good come rounds, and you got to hope for some misses still. The Alberta girls actually got 2 in the 7th, so they now trail Ontario 7-5 going into the 8th end. They need to steal a 2 here to stay alive.
Seeing lots of your sister's name on these banners in this arena, but none of yours, Joel.
Mine are at the other end now.
Ah.
Way over there.
But they are there.
Yes, they are.
One or two?
A few.
Two?
Two.
Is 2 a few?
Yeah. Two's
This makes more sense then. But maybe there's some discrimination going on at the Red Deer Curling Club.
Nah, it just proves that Jocelyn's accomplished a lot more than I have. So BC now facing 2 stones.
She's funnier too.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far. Does she even have a sense of humor?
Yeah, I think so.
Joshua Mickey looking just to eliminate Newfoundland stones at this point. Any piece of this stone should eliminate it, and that's what they're looking for.
And they got it.
So Newfoundland down to their last couple lives here. One more stone eliminated by BC, and that will be the end of the game.
Well, like you said, Joel, I still like the call to play this end.
Yep. Get used to the ice. Continue to get used to the ice. Get some confidence. Maybe you make like they've barely missed this end, so get a little bit confidence going into the next one. Newfoundland will have Quebec in their next game. Quebec sitting at 2-6. While BC will move on to play New Brunswick in their next one. New Brunswick currently sitting at 3-4.
Important game for New Brunswick.
Mm-hmm. So
Comes down to this.
Hayato Sato, the kid's had an incredible game here today. It'd be awesome to see him continue that and finish this game off. Got to give BC credit. They came out, they were aggressive, and they got their 2s early, and they put the foot down on the gas pedal the whole game. I don't know if that's a saying, but they've done a good job controlling this game right from the get-go.
Seems like a saying. I wouldn't patent it, though.
No.
Leave it at that. Yeah, great game by BC.
Kind of solid throughout. And Hayato Sato.
He hasn't missed many today, and he won't miss this one.
And that'll be it. The hands are out, and it'll be a 6-2 victory for BC over Newfoundland today. So BC will run their record to 7-1. They'll join Ontario at the top. Newfoundland will drop to 6-2 and be tied with Alberta for 3rd place. Both teams still kind of in a position to make the playoffs. However, nothing's confirmed, so you got to keep winning. And we said Newfoundland will have Quebec in their next game, with BC taking on New Brunswick.
Well, it was fun, Joel.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
I appreciate having you on, Lal. It was a lot of fun.
No problem. I'd like to adding another sport to the old broadcaster resume.
So now you got curling, basketball, hockey.
Yeah, and I'll stick with hockey, I think. But I love curling. And hopefully we can get into their Ironman Bonspiel soon.
Absolutely.
We've gotten better since the first time we curled together.
Absolutely. So we got another Bonspiel victory in our future.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Nonetheless, we thank all our viewers from across the country that were listening in today.
Coast to coast.
Coast to coast, from Newfoundland to BC. Thank you to everybody watching. Thank you to Lyle. Thank you to our camera girl. She's awesome down there. Thank you to everybody who involved with this broadcast. From the 2019 Canada Winter Games in Red Deer, Alberta. We'll talk to you later. Today, the next draw will be at 5 p.m. Have a great day, everybody.